welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to talk about best couples of 2020, and I'll be making this list every year in December, and some couples on here will stay the same, some will be moved, and some will be added. It just depends on some of these couples I know will probably stay because they're my all-time favorite couples. I do not see that changing anytime soon, but you never know. So yeah, never say never, right? But yeah, so I'm gonna start at the bottom of my list and move up, and we'll see. Okay, so I have Poppy and Isabella on Hocus Pocus sequel. They were just so sweet together, and one thing I loved about the representation was that they didn't try to force it. They didn't have to mention every 5 minutes that they are lesbians. They didn't try to do lesbian pride or anything. And I'm all for lesbian pride, but sometimes they do try to push it a little too much, and I love when it's just there. They normalize it, you know? It's like they briefly mention it at the beginning that Poppy has a crush on a girl, and then and they leave it at that. And the entire book is obviously about Poppy's friendship with Travis, her crush on Isabella, and them trying to put the witches back where they belong. And I just think the way they did it was so amazing because they normalized it. Because whenever there's a straight couple, they don't try to make a point that they're straight. And I just loved how they did it so simple in this, and they normalized it, and they made it just like any other relationship, because it is, you know. And they were so sweet together and cute, and I loved the ending. I was squealing when Isabella was trying to tell Poppy that she had feelings for her too. It was just so amazing and sweet, and I loved it. I loved watching them grow and become this amazing power duo, and I love them. This stack is tilting a little bit. Fixed it, hopefully. It shouldn't fall now. Let's see. I have 3 couples from this one series. I'm gonna grab the second book because I can. So there's Carlos and Jane from all these couples are from Isle of Lost. Carlos and Jane, they're just so sweet, and they have so many cute little moments, and I love their little moments they have together, and I love watching it, especially reading it, especially in the 3rd book. They have so many cute moments, and I'm gonna be rereading the 4th one soon, and in the 4th one they are already dating, so there'll be even more cute moments, and they're just so sweet, and I just love reading about their growth, about being friends, and becoming so much more, because you get more of that in the books than you do in the movies. Because in Descendants, in the first one, yes, they end up dancing at the end, but I always kind of figured that's when his feelings for her started. Turns out not so much. I think that's when their friendship started, but there were a couple of tiny moments on here showing their friendship, showing how much they care about each other. And 3rd one, there's so much more of their growth, and then at the end of the book, it shows Carlos coming to realization that he actually has feelings for Jane, and it doesn't show Jane come to the same terms, but I'm pretty sure she already had at that point. So yeah. But you definitely but in the movies, you know, it's just they dance together at the end of the 1st movie, and in the 2nd movie, all of a sudden, Carlos has feelings for her. But in here, it actually shows them develop it more, because they were friends for a while, and then that's when they realized that there's more to it than friendship. So yeah. Then there's also Evening Doug. They have so many sweet moments. He's always there for her. He's kind. He's sweet. He's loyal. He's always willing to lend a hand, and always willing to make her happy, and they are the sweetest. And there's also Mel and Ben, who are Mel and Ben, like, seriously. They are so good together, and Ben really cares about her. He'll do anything for her, and she is always on his side, and she's always willing to help him with his matters. And yeah, so the 3 of those couples, I do want to give an honorable mentions to Jay and Lonnie, because I do ship them wholeheartedly, but in the first 3 books, they don't really have many scenes, which sucks. I don't remember they do in the 4th one. Like I said, it's been a while since I read it, but I will be rereading it soon, and I will find out. So maybe they'll make the list next year. I don't know. We'll see. But as of right now, no. But they are so good together. I love them in Descendants too, and I think they should have ended up together. So yeah. Next is Lizzie and Daring from Ever After High. This should be no surprise. Whenever I talk about this book, I do always give shout out to Lizzie and Daring because they didn't have that many moments in the show, but I always shipped them. They were so sweet and so amazing, and I think they're good for each other. You know, Daring can get Lizzie to let go of her anger a little bit and to let someone in because she has all these walls guarding her, and she doesn't let anyone in except for her friends, Maddie and Kitty, and she's always pushing people away. And I think Daring could help her let someone in, and I think Lizzie could help Daring with it because he can't be a bit selfish and self-absorbed. And I think she could make him realize that there are other people in the universe than just him. That there's other people that matter just as much. That it's not all about him, and I think they could just really help each other. And I think Daring has technically 3 love interests in the show. Lizzie's one, Sirius is another, and Apple is the last. And I think, and whoever wrote this is obviously a Lizzie and Daring shipper because there are just a few scenes on here that's just too cute, and I love. And yeah, so they definitely deserve this list for at least this year. Not sure they'll be on the list next year, but they'll always be in my heart. So. Next is Rebecca and Cy. They never technically get together, but it's obvious. Cy's feelings for Rebecca are so obvious, but if you ask me, Rebecca's feelings for him are obvious too. You just don't realize it. She just doesn't realize it. But they so obviously have feelings for each other. They're always there for each other, always believe in each other, always have each other's backs, and always are partnered together, always worrying about one another. And they just have this bond that cannot be broken, and I love it so much. And they deserve to be together at the end, but they were not, so that made me sad. So in Monster High, there's a few. There's Melody and Jackson were really cute. They did kind of ruin them in the 4th book, sadly, but it does look like they got back together at the very end. It doesn't say for sure, which made me upset, but yeah. But they were good together. I liked them together. They were always there together, having each other's backs, always worrying about each other, you know. And Jackson always stood up for Melody, and Melody was always there to save Jackson's skin. And yeah, so they were always there for each other. And then there's Cleo and Deuce, and if you've seen the movies, there's really not much I really need to say about the two of them because it's Cleo and Deuce. Ow. I did not just do that. You did not see anything. So anyways, Cleo and Deuce, they have an interesting relationship to say the least. But in the end, they care about each other, and they're always there for each other. And I mean, they've been broken up twice in the movies, and that's because of Cleo's family both times. But in the end, they're always there for each other. They always love each other, you know. Deuce handles her personality very well. So yeah. But it's obvious to everyone that the two of them are endgame no matter what. So yeah. And then the third couple, which is my favorite couple, is Dracula and Claude. They don't really have any moments in the first 2 books, but in the 3rd book, it starts to show signs. At first, I thought I was overreading it because it was my second time reading this, but I haven't read it in a long time. I didn't remember like anything at all really. So yeah, except that they created Monster High. That's like and living with normies. That's really all I remembered. And so when I was reading this, I was like, oh my, I'm probably thinking way too hard into this. I'm sure these little signs don't mean anything, and I was wrong. Thankfully, they did mean something. There were just little things Claude did here and there that showed he had feelings for Draculaura. And at first, they were really small to the point where I thought I was overthinking them, but then they got bigger. I was like, oh yeah, there is something there. I knew it. I'm not crazy. So yeah. And then Draculaura showed that she had a crush on him too. And then it never actually shows them get together, but in the 4th book they are already dating, and I love the relationship. I love how, and like when she was pretending that she knew what this whole meeting that her dad called for was, because she's been bragging about how close her and her dad were getting, even though it was a lie, because she just was too embarrassed to say that her dad's been back for a few months and they barely said 2 words to each other. And so everyone assumed that she knew what this meeting was about, so she pretended as if she did, and everyone was trying to pressure her into telling them what this meeting was about. And then Deuce whispers to her, she's like, you don't have to tell anyone if you don't want to. And it was just so sweet. It's a small scene, yes, but it was just so sweet. It shows that he respects her and he is always on her side, and it's just so sweet and amazing, and I live for it. So yeah. Next is Kato and Dorothea from Storymakers. They are just amazing. I love them. They are everything. They are everything. At first they hated each other. Neither one of them wanted to marry because they had to marry for an alliance. But then on this journey they went on, they started getting closer and they started falling for each other, and they finally admitted it, and it was just so sweet. Sadly, we didn't get as many moments with them in the second book, because the second book follows Rexy. Third book follows Dorothea and Rexy, so we get a little bit more of them. But yeah, and I absolutely love them so much. I ship them. They are so amazing, and yes, I am in love with them. So yeah, they deserve more love. The Storymakers is in one of my top favorite books, if you saw that video already. But Dorothea and Rexy, as of 2020, are one of my top favorite couples because they're just so amazing and I love them. Next is Frank and Ziri. Obviously, I love them and they're just so amazing together, and I love their growth. I love how Ziri saw him as an annoying, as her crush's annoying little brother, to this amazing guy who's always there for her. And I love how Brink is always there for her, even when she brushed him off for being Ned's little brother. And he's always has her back, and Vashti's too, and Tabitha's. He's so loyal and kind, and Ziri realizes that and realizes how stupid she's been, and she's like, oh my gosh, this guy is actually really amazing. How could I not have seen that before? It's like there's something there that wasn't there before. I couldn't help myself. But yeah, so they are amazing, and I do love them, and they definitely deserve to be on the list. And they're one of my favorite couples. So they'll probably be on next year's list. I hope they are, because I'll be sad if I have to kick them off. Actually, I don't have to. It's my list. I'll put them on if I want to, and they probably will be on there because I love them so much. Okay. Next is... I almost grabbed the wrong book. Okay. Allie and Mikey from the Skin Jacket trilogy. They're so amazing. When you first meet them, they do not like each other at all. It was kind of a Beauty and the Beast situation. He had her captive, and by her choice, because she wanted to infiltrate his operation, she had a little bit more freedom than Belle did at the beginning, though, and that's because she thought she was teaching him how to skin jack, even though it was a lie. So she had a little bit more freedom, because he didn't want her to give up or anything, even though he could probably scare her into it. But she was trying to save Nick and Leaf, who were captured by him, and yeah. So, but then they started getting closer, starting to let each other in, started to bring comfort to each other, and then by the end of the book, a bunch of people were attacking Mikey, and Allie couldn't live with it, but she couldn't stop it either, so she ends up just running away because she couldn't watch it. And then Mikey ends up saving her when she almost gets sucked into the center of the earth. And then in the second book, they are on a journey together, hanging out together. They are separated for a while in the book because Mikey thinks Allie has a crush on this other skinjacker, and Mikey's already having feelings for her, but what he doesn't know is she's already having feelings for him too. And so yeah, and it's just so sweet. And um, Mikey confesses his love for her at the end of the second book, and then she gets captured. So the third book is about him trying to rescue her. So yeah, but I ship them so wholeheartedly. They're one of my favorite couples, and they deserve so much love. And it's a haters to lovers. So if you like haters to lovers, you'll like this. I love it, and I love a good haters to lovers. It's one of my favorite romantic tropes that has to do with couples. I love haters to lovers, forbidden love, and best friends to lovers. So yeah, but they were haters to lovers, and they were just, I loved it. Next is Maya and Aiden from the Effigies trilogy. They are amazing together. Really, they are. Um, uh, when they first meet, it wasn't exactly love at first sight, which is okay, which is good because I'm not a big a fan of love at first sight. I don't think any of the couples that I absolutely love were love at first sight. Seriously, none of the couples that I love were love at first sight. Well, I guess Mel and Ben kind of technically were, if you think about it. I don't know, but anyways, yeah. Um, the two of them, they've been through a lot. She's very protective of him because he had this past. He did something he regrets, and he didn't really have much of a choice either. And she finds out about first when she. I'm not gonna tell you because that's like a huge spoiler, but when she first finds out, she's appalled, and then she's yelling at him. She's like, "Why should I trust you?" And then that's when he kind of breaks down because I'm in love with you. It's a really sweet moment. He just she risks everything to keep a secret from the world. And when Belle finds out, when the entire world finds out the truth, and then Belle finds out about the secret, I don't want to say that either because that's a bit of a spoiler. So basically, she risks everything to keep the secrets of Aiden's, and she loves him so much. And when she thought she lost him, it was so heartbreaking. But when she got him back, it was so heartwarming, and I just love him so much. So yeah, definitely recommend this series, and I think you'll like this couple. It's not love at first sight, it's not enemies to lovers either. It's just kind of, she at the beginning of this whole Effigy's journey, he was the only one she really trusted. So, um, so they just kind of got closer, and I really ship it. Okay, next is two couples from this series. Ron and Hermione. Of course this has to be on the list because Ron and Hermione are everything. I absolutely love them together. They are so amazing, and they're so good together. They belong together. Nothing can change my mind. I don't believe that they belong with anyone else. They belong together, and they are just. Ugh, they're just so amazing. They care about each other. They protect each other. They get jealous when they're with someone else because of their feelings for each other, and they're always on each other's side. Ron's always ready to defend Hermione. Yes, they got into fights, but everyone fights. Let's be real. But like when Draco called her a mudblood, and he was ready to defend her, or when um, that one house elf, I can't remember his name now, creature. When he calls Hermione Mudblood, he's ready to defend her. And then after they finally kissed and became girlfriend and boyfriend, uh, one of them in the last movie or book, one of them does something to Hermione, I don't remember, but then Ron goes after them and he's like, "That's my girlfriend," and then Hermione kind of just smiles, and I was like, "Oh my god, I ship them so much." So yeah. And then the other one is Harry and Jenny. Obviously, they belong together. Jenny was always there for Harry, even when he didn't realize it. And he saved her life, and she's always there for him. She's always there to protect him, to defend him. She was ready to defend him against Malfoy. And the second one, when um, he made a little comment. I don't remember what comment he made now, but I just remember her defending him. And then he's like, uh, something about her being his girlfriend or something. So yeah, and I love the scene when in Order of Phoenix when the house is being burned down and Harry runs through the fire and then the fire closes and won't let anyone through until Jenny comes through, and it shows how powerful Jenny truly is. And I don't think anyone talks about that scene enough because that fire was closed. It only let Harry through because they wanted Harry through. But why would it let Jenny through? Maybe because they saw how powerful Jenny is and they could sense her magic, so they let her through. I don't know. but that's a working theory of mine because I just think it's amazing how no, it wouldn't let anyone through except for Harry and Jenny. You know, a couple other people were eventually able to get through, but the fire did not let them through. So yeah. So I didn't think that scene needs to be talked about more. But Harry and Jenny in general need to be talked about more because they're so amazing. They definitely belong together. I ship it so wholeheartedly, and they're just, I love them, and they deserve more love. Okay, I think I'm almost done. Let's see. I have, yeah, three more, two from the same series, and that will be Sandstorm and Firestar from the first arc. They are so, I love them so much. When they first met, if I remember correctly, they didn't exactly get along. I don't think it's, I wouldn't say, they are honestly, I think they're a little bit like haters to lovers because they didn't get along, but they didn't downright hate each other at the beginning. At least I don't think so. I think it might be a little bit more on Sandstorm's part having issues with Firestar, because I think that the reason why a lot of them had issues with Firestar, except for Graystripe, is because he was a house cat. He gets accepted to this wild clan, and then all of a sudden he is like a prodigy. He's amazing at everything. He's getting everything. And I think a lot of people were jealous, honestly. I think that's what a lot of people's issue with Firestar is. Tiger Claw's issue, Sandstorm's issue. But she gets past her issues when she realizes what a great guy he is. And I'm talking really fast at this point. But I'm just getting really excited. I tend to talk fast when I get excited, and I get excited when I talk about things I love, like couples that I love, like Sandstorm and Firestar. And the two of them are just amazing, and I love it. And they're just so good. And you know, Sandstorm was always kind of insecure with her relationship with Firestar because his first love was I said Blue Star. No, not wrong character. Um, Spotted Leaf. Uh, but they couldn't be together because she was the medicine cat, and but then he falls in love with Sandstorm, and she always kind of thought she was his second choice because if Spotted Leaf was alive, she thinks that he would have chased after her, and even though Firestar tells her that he chose her because he loves her, so yeah. Um, and then the other couple is actually has to do with one of Sandstorm and Firestar's daughters, Leafpool. I talk about Leafpool a lot. I should probably talk about Squirrelflights more and Squirrelflight and Brambleclaw because they're cute too, but they're not my favorite couple, so they're not making this list this year. Maybe they'll make the list next year if I decide I like them more now. I don't know. But Leafpool and Crowfeather, they are a forbidden relationship. I love forbidden relationships just as much as haters to lovers. They're just so amazing. Leafpool and Crowfeather, Leafpool is a medicine cat, or an apprentice to be a medicine cat. And when you're a medicine cat, you're not allowed to have a mate or kins of your own. Your entire focus has to be on your clan. So that's one way they're forbidden. But the other way, the bigger way they're forbidden is because they're from two different clans. And you're not allowed to be with someone that's from a different clan of yours. And yet they met, they fell in love, so they started sneaking off together. And it was just really sweet and how they were willing to risk everything for each other because they loved each other so much. And so yeah, I ship it so much. And yeah, they deserve more love. And then the last one is Kalik and Yakon. Um, they meet Yakon in the sixth book, and Kalik and Yakon instantly hit it off. And then they do have just a little bit when Kalik was taking care of Kissimmee because it kind of looked like she had kidnapped Kissimmee, but there was more to the story than that. But yeah, but at the end, Yokon decided to go with them on the journey because she wanted to be with Kalik. He gave up everything to be with her, and it was just so sweet. And then they at one point Kalik almost uses Yokon because he gets trapped in a bear trap, and he almost loses his leg, and he almost dies because he's bleeding out, and she couldn't lose anyone else. She's lost so much already, and the thought of losing him almost broke her. And she's one of the strongest people on this book, and the fact that she almost broke says a lot. And And then at the end, they were fighting a lot. He was being kind of distant, and she finally confronted him about it. And he's like, "You deserve better. Okay, I'm damaged goods now. Okay." And then she puts all that to rest. She's like, "I don't care. I want you. I choose you." And it's just really sweet, and I ship them so much. So yeah, those are my favorite couples of 2020. And so yeah, and that's all for this video. Please like and subscribe and comment your favorite couples of this year. And you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads as Secret Books. And I'll talk to you guys later.